All right, so a huge win tonight for the Florida Gators. They take down Kentucky 48-20. Jaden Ball, 22 carries, 106 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Ties a Florida Gator record, I believe. And DJ Lagway, his numbers are not going to look great, but he played very well. 7 of 14, 259 yards, 0 touchdowns, the 1 interception. And again, he is a freshman. He's going to make mistakes. It just is what it is. Once he starts seeing the field a little better throughout his career, he's going to get better. Those numbers are going to even look better. And man, can he throw the ball downfield. But we see the talent. We see what he brings to the table. But, Florida really defensively, I think, is the thing that people are talking about. We haven't really seen the Florida Gator play defense like they have over the past 3 weeks, especially Tennessee the previous week, but now Kentucky. Brock Vandergriff and that Kentucky offense doesn't really scare a lot of people, but Florida Gators are tackling very well. They're covering very well, very tight. And Aaron Gates is somebody who's starting to come into his own and starting to play better. And man, he looks good in that Florida Gator defense. And the defense is what I've always been looking at. I'm like, man, the Florida Gator defense just has been absolutely terrible over years and years. They just haven't looked great. But you're starting to see it. Now, could it be the quality of the opponents they're playing? Yes. So we're really going to start seeing that in the next couple of weeks if this defense is for real, especially when they play Georgia, when they play Texas, even though Texas coming off an embarrassing loss or a bad loss to Georgia. But we're going to start seeing what this defense is really made of. But Lagway, we're starting to see how he looks, and he's starting to get a little comfortable. But man, that deep ball is so pretty. Hitting guys like Elijah Badger with 3 catches, 148 yards. DK with 2 catches, 67 yards. But, I really like what I've seen out of DJ Lagway. I would have liked for him to start the beginning of the year. I understand why, but I just felt like he was probably the best or most talented quarterback on the roster. But you want to go with the experience. I get it. But DJ Lagway, the more he gets reps and the more he gets live action, he is going to get better. And we knew this year was going to be a wash for the Florida Gators just with the schedule. And the roster is not really built for a championship run. But the more he gets, the better he will become, especially now. He's only a true freshman. He'll be a true sophomore next year. So he's going to be 3 years now with the Florida Gators under center. But we liked what I've seen. Defensively, I think that's the biggest thing. Jaden Ball got the 5 touchdowns. That's great and all. I wish Billy Napier, listen, I give him a lot of crap, but I really do wish that he would have got DJ Lagway a touchdown, even if it was a rushing touchdown. I was like, man, he played very well. And, his arm talent's probably going to keep your job safe a little bit longer, in my opinion, even though I still think Billy Napier is not the guy for Florida. I will keep going on that for a while unless something drastically changes. I just don't really see that from him, to be honest with you, but that's for another video. But the Florida Gators, listen, a lot of smiles on the sideline. I saw a lot of people on Twitter getting very happy, a little confident. I know a lot of people were talking about how Florida could still make the playoffs. Let's back up a little bit. Let's come down to earth. I feel like I have to be the voice of reason sometimes. Florida Gators have just played a really good game. Let's not jump on that yet. Florida defensively is getting better, and I do agree with that. They're very young. They're still a young defense. They're still a young team. But the more they go along, listen, there's going to be tough matchups upcoming. And we all know this. Maybe Florida can squeak out. Possibly Ole Miss is probably somebody I'm looking at where Florida could actually upset Ole Miss. And Ole Miss just really hasn't been playing very well, and that's kind of been their MO for quite some years, especially with Lane Kiffin. I know a lot of you are wanting Lane Kiffin as the next Florida Gator head coach. But, we're really going to see what this Florida Gator defense and offense is made of when they play stiffer competition. And, I really didn't think Tennessee, especially how they played, that was like a big, even though they're an 11th ranked team, I didn't think they were a big opponent. And Kentucky, everybody had Kentucky losing to Florida, at least a lot of experts anyways. But, just the way Florida's defense is swarming to the ball and they're attacking the defense, the edge rushers actually getting pressure on the quarterback. again, Kentucky has a weak offensive line, but Texas actually they don't have the greatest offensive line, so maybe Florida could disrupt that Texas offense later on down the road. But, just the pressure that Florida is able to get, some of the defensive schemes have been a little better. It's just they're playing tighter, and they can actually tackle for once, and that's actually been the thing that pops out for me. But, all smiles, it's a great win. If you're a Florida Gator fan like me, it's great to win. You're 4-3 on the year. I know a lot of people keep going back. We should be 6-1. You should be 5-2. I hate thinking like that. You don't want to think like that because your record is what it is. Okay, you're 4-3. Now you go into the bye week and then you play Georgia. You know how big of a game that Georgia game is, especially with the running back that Florida used to have, Trevor Etienne. So if Florida could do something defensively, especially against Trevor Etienne and that Georgia offense, you might start hearing a little bit of buzz, but I'm going to hold back on that. I'm not going to say Florida will, but it's a great victory. Always good beating Kentucky. Fine. I mean, Kentucky didn't have a running back that rushed like 300 yards on them for once. So great victory. I think this could have some confidence for Florida. Maybe even for Billy Napier, which I feel like that's kind of a lost cause at this point. I know people are going to say, hey, give him his props. He got the victory over Kentucky. That's good. It was Kentucky. If he comes up with a great game plan against Georgia and Texas and some of the teams down the road, then you'll start hearing me maybe changing my tune a little bit about him. I just don't have that much confidence because he hasn't really gave me much to go off of. So, but a great victory for Florida, a great win. Lagway looked good. Defense has surprisingly looked better each and every, especially the past 3 weeks and after that bye week. So, kudos to like Austin Armstrong and the defensive coordinators who I've gave a ton of crap about because they have been bad. I mean, defense has been bad for Florida. And so maybe something lit a fire under them. I don't know what it was, but about time we are actually seeing a physical Florida Gator defense. 48 points is a lot, and a little cherry on top. Cormani McClain was able to get a pick six. It was late in the game, and Kentucky's backup was in. But listen, Cormani McClain came in, and maybe that boosts his confidence a little bit. May need him. Jason Marshall got injured in the game, so Cormani might see a little more playing time. Former 5-star player a couple of years ago. So great to see. Great game. Smiles all around for the Florida Gators and the fan base. So, but y'all let me know in the comments, does this game change your way of how you see the Florida Gators season and the way you think of Billy Napier? Y'all let me know down in the comments. But as always, I appreciate y'all watching this channel. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great one.